Ms. Clerk, please roll call roll.
Barnett, Barrett, Blackman, Blackwell, Blunt, Boyd, Branning, Bryan, Butler, Carter, Kaufman, Chazanall, Chisholm, DeBar, Delano, England, Fillingane, Frazier, Harkins, Hill, Hobson, Horn, Jackson of the 11th, Jackson of the 32nd, Johnson, Jordan, Kirby, McCollum, McDaniel, McLendon, McMahon, Michelle, Moran, Norwood, Parker, Parks, Pope, Seymour, Simmons of the 12th, Simmons of the 13th, Sojourner, Sparks, Suber, Tate, Thomas, Thompson, Turner, Ford, Whaley, Wiggins, Williams, Witherspoon, Younger. Mr. President, a quorum, Mr. President.
Senate, please rise for the invocation given by Senator Josh Harkins, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Senator Jackson. Senator Harkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I guess this time of year, we all get the feeling of being overwhelmed. So I wanted to read a verse from Matthew chapter 11, 28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. If you will, please pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today grateful for this season and remembering that you sent your Son to pay the ultimate sacrifice so that we may live in eternity with you. God, I just ask that you bless each person represented here, their families, give everyone safe travels home, and we just give you thanks and praise that we live in the freest land where we can worship you and just give thanks for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon each of us. In your heavenly name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Senator Jackson. Pardon me? I got it. Good. Thank you, Senators. Now the reading of the journal. Senator Blackwell, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to dispense with the reading of the journal.
Senator moves to dispense with the reading of the journal. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, message and petitions, please.
Mr. President, there are none.
Committee reports. Senator Blackwell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to dispense with the reading of the committee reports.
Senator moves to dispense with the reading of committee reports. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next, the reading of titles, bills, and resolutions. Senator Blackwell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to dispense with the reading of the titles and bills or resolutions.
Senator moves to dispense with the titles of the bills and resolutions. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. Next, to introductions. Introductions. Anyone? Introductions. Seeing none, we'll go to the calendar. Senator, you are recognized. Senator Kirby, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to suspend the rules, take up items 1 through 12 in block. If no one wishes to set one aside, and ask that the titles be read.
Seeing no objection, all in favor of 1 through 12, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senator Blunt, did you have a question on those items?
What, 8? Wait, I'm looking at the wrong date.
The wrong date, Senator. Today's Monday.
Make your usual motion, Mr. President.
Hold on just a second. Senator Blunt he's good. We're good. Senator makes the usual motion. Yeah, just 1 second, please. Senator Blunt, you were recognized.
Just at the appropriate time, I would like to set a few two items aside, Mr. President.
Okay, Senator, the usual motion. Senator makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay, Senator Kirby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, as you can see, these are all recognizing or commending someone in 1 through 12 on the calendar. So if there are no questions on any of those, I ask for the use of the afternoon roll call for final
I
passage.
believe Senator Blunt had two exceptions. Senator Kirby, will you yield for a question from Senator Blunt?
Mr. President, I would ask that item number 6 and item number 11 be set aside from the motion to take up in block.
Item number 6 and number 11.
6 and what?
6 and 11, Mr. Clerk. That's the Gulf of Mexico one and the Forest Service. Now we're ready to read the titles, I believe, Senator. Mr. Clerk, please read the titles.
House concurrent resolution number 32, Sarcoidosis Awareness Month in Mississippi, designating April 2021 as. House concurrent resolution number 35, Steve Hale, commend distinguished public service career, including as a state senator. House concurrent resolution number 36, Kidney Disease Awareness Month, recognized March 2021 as. House concurrent resolution number 37, Franklin Academy, congratulate upon observance of the bicentennial celebration as first public school in Mississippi. House concurrent resolution number 38, Robert Daniel Dan Kemp, commend life, legacy, and contributions of upon his passing. House concurrent resolution number 40, Governor William Winter, commend life and legacy upon his passing. House concurrent resolution number 41, Taiwan, recognizes the friendship and encourage further economic ties with the state of Mississippi. House concurrent resolution number 42, Mississippi Electric Power Associations commend for their tireless efforts to restore power after the winter storm in February 2021. House concurrent resolution number 43, Mississippi Mosquito and West Nile Virus Awareness Week, designate April 12th through 17th, 2021 as. Senate concurrent resolution number 534, declare September 21, 2021 as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month.
Now, I did make the usual motion.
You made the usual motion. Yes, we did already, Senator. Thank you.
Use the afternoon roll call for final passage.
Questions? Questions? Senator has moved for use of the afternoon roll call. Does anyone object to procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Seeing none, the items 1 through 12, with the exception of 11 and 6, are passed, Senator. They retain their place on the calendar. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll go back to item number 6, HCR 39, or suspend the rules, we'll go back to it. Take up item number 639 and I ask the title be read.
Senator has requested to go back to, on the calendar to number 6. All in favor signify by saying aye. Suspend the rules. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senator, you're ready for 39. Read the title, Mr. Clerk.
House concurrent resolution number 39, Gulf of Mexico continental shelf leasing and infrastructure development, urge and support continuation of.
Make your usual motion, Mr. President.
Senator makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senator, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 6, you can read what it does. Basically, I ask for no questions, use morning roll call for final passage.
Questions? Questions? Senator Blunt?
I do not have a question, Mr. President. I would just like to be recorded as voting present at the proper time.
Okay. Use of morning roll call has been requested. Anyone object to the procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Present. Senator Blunt, present. Anyone else? Anyone else? Bill passes by use of the morning roll call. Mr. Clerk, please note Senator Blunt as present. Okay, Senator Kirby, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call up item number 11, SCR number 533, and ask the title be read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate concurrent resolution number 533, recommend that the United States Forest Service reconsider certain restrictive action on national forest lands in Mississippi.
Senators requested to waive the rules and allow to return to the calendar to number 11. Anyone object to procedure? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed,
Aye.
no. Senator, you're recognized for number 11.
If there are no questions, Mr. President, we've made the usual motion, so I ask for use of afternoon roll call, final passage.
Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present. Senator Blunt? Present. Anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing none, resolution passes by use of the afternoon roll call. Senator Blunt being noted as present. Okay, Senator, we're back on number 13, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call up item 13 and ask the title be read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate concurrent resolution number 536, State Taxation Study Committee established.
Make your usual motion, Mr. President.
Senator makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Please proceed, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, this is a bill, as you can read, a concurrent resolution establishing the State Taxation Study Committee. The committee will report to the 2022 regular session of the legislature, making their recommendations, and it's to study tax structure, basically, the state income tax, state sales tax, and the state use tax. So there's the committee, I'll be happy to tell you, the committee exists of the Commissioner of the Department of Revenue, 4 members of the State Senate appointed by the Lieutenant Governor, 4 members of the Mississippi House appointed by the Speaker, Chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, Chairman of the House Ways and Means, the Chairman of the Senate Appropriations, the Chairman of the House Appropriations, plus the state economist. To study those, the committees shall be appointed within 30 days and report to this committee, to this body. So if there are no questions asked for you this morning, roll call, final passage.
Senator McDaniel, for what purpose do you seek recognition?
I'd like to speak on the resolution at the proper time.
Okay, any questions first? Any questions? Seeing none, Senator McDaniel, you're recognized.
Afternoon roll call.
If the Senate would indulge me just for a moment, I know how this ultimately will end, but I still think it's important that we have a few thoughts shared publicly, not only for us, but for the people who may be listening. You know, one of the great joys, I suppose, I have of having an office downstairs is that I have a speaker system. And as part of that speaker system, I'm able to hear the debates and the proceedings that happen here on this floor from time to time. And I have to tell you that every time I listen, I'm always amazed. There's never a time when there's not some debate or something said where I don't learn something or our mind is not changed. And even when I'm wrong, sometimes it makes me come to the right conclusions because I've heard that debate. Just a couple of examples. I remember last year during the criminal justice debate, I heard Senator Sparks and his mastery of the criminal justice reform bill, along with Senator Barnett, and they changed my mind. I was inclined not to support the bill, but I heard them argue, I heard them debate, and they changed my mind. That's not the only time it's happened. I've seen a lot of gifted people stand before this podium. I've seen Senator Branning stand here as polished and as more prepared as I've ever seen, able to answer seemingly every question. I've seen Senator Jordan here defend his views and even make me perhaps more compassionate than I would have been otherwise, knowing that he's lived through things that I have not. The point of the matter is, every time we debate, every time we speak, I learn something. The downside, I think, of having the switch in my office is that I can also switch occasionally and listen to our friends on the House of the Representatives side. A few days ago, I made that decision to switch, and I listened to one of the leaders in the House, and frankly, he wasn't very flattering toward the Senate. It really got my attention because I felt at that moment a bit defensive. I wanted to address a couple of those arguments today and just see if we could come to some consensus with House leadership on this issue. The House presented a 308-page bill, and they voted on it in a matter of moments. The defense was that they had 5 years to study it. Okay, fine, we've talked about this, we've studied it, I agree with that. But if that's the case, then why did they wait to the last month of session to give it to us? Number two, they claimed it was a transparent bill. Okay, fine, transparent enough. If that was the case, why not meet with Senator Harkins? We are the upper chamber, are we not? This body of intellect that we have, the ability to communicate, do we not? And perhaps the last thing he said, and in all fairness, no, nothing personal, I recognize that, it's posturing, I get that, but he said the Senate killed this bill. I want to be clear and go on the record now, the Senate did not kill the income tax elimination bill. The Senate has not yet voted on that bill. So just to clarify, we want a chance to vote, we want to work on this. And as I heard those arguments from the House, initially I was concerned, but I'll at least say this in their defense, in the defense of Speaker Gunn, a tip of the hat to him, because he started the conversation, did he not? Now bear with me for a second. I don't want to be here a long time, but I want you to understand that it takes real political guts and courage to do what he did. He laid it out there on the line. Our anger should not be directed at Philip Gunn. He was doing what he thought was best, and he paid a pretty heavy price for it. He's given us an offer. The upper chamber now, I would think, would lead, at the very least, with a counteroffer. This is not a counteroffer. Kicking the can down the road is not a policy position. More delay is not the answer. We have all the data we need right before us at this very moment. And to those of you that claim that somehow, if it's not broken, don't fix it, I will assure you that Mississippi and its economy is broken. The tax system is broken. Lowest median household income, second lowest labor force participation, the 17th highest tax burden per its economy in the country, stagnant economic growth, stagnant migration, stagnant gross domestic product. Meanwhile, we're taking in more money than we've ever taken in before, but what are we showing for it? As a whole, 33% more money in our revenue than just 10 years ago. As a whole, 26.1% more money in our general fund than just 10 years ago. Yet those areas remain stagnant. Why? It is the code. 170 different taxes, fees, and distortions to our economy, and here we stand with a chance to fix the most egregious of that tax code, and that's the income tax. It doesn't matter which public policy think tank you talk to, conservative or liberal, they will concede the most distortive tax, the most problematic tax, the most bothersome tax is the income tax. And why is that? Two reasons. It taxes labor, but then it taxes savings and investment a second time. Other taxes don't work that way, only the income tax. And we have a chance here to fix it. I don't, for the life of me, understand why we won't address it and at least send a counteroffer back to the House. Now, I will tell you this, the House bill, as written, is more complex than it needs to be. It increases 26 other taxes at least, and for whatever reason, attempts to burden the poor in an attempt to somehow fix the system. You don't have to burden the poor of this state to fix the system. You don't have to undercut those that are on fixed incomes to fix the system. We can fix the system in a responsible, kind manner by simply placing triggers on revenue growth and taking this down over a period of years. We've talked to economists, we've talked to CPAs, we've talked to tax lawyers. They'll tell you unequivocally to take this step in a moderate, easy to understand approach. It's the answer to all the things that ail this economy. It's predictable. It's safe. It's easy. 12 different economists thus far have recognized the problems with the House plan. The amendments we could offer would not have those complexities. You simply eliminate those additional taxes. You phase out the 4% tax bracket. And then over a period of time, you bring down incrementally the income tax based on revenue triggers that must be met. There's no cuts in revenue. There's no cuts in government services. The core functions are retained, yet we take steps in the right direction every single year until it's gone. How do we know this? Because if you go back 10 years with the same data and extrapolate it forward with these projections, had we passed this in 2009, the income tax would have been gone and our revenues would still be flush. It just takes a little bit of action. And I do agree with Speaker Gunn. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, and here's why. I've been here for quite a few years, and I will tell you I've never seen the budget this flush. Granted, some of that is non-recurring money, but we are at a position at this stage to eliminate that 4% bracket. That's a $176 billion step in the right direction, giving the people back their money. And after that, additional decreases only happen when revenue triggers are met. The point is, we got a counteroffer, don't we? Keep the conversation going, and don't let this year go by when we have such a golden opportunity to take action at this very moment. We all want the same things, and I want to be real clear. The House is right. Speaker Gunn is right. We need to eliminate the state income tax. And it needs to be doing right this instant. And if we take that action, our state will be better off. And we don't have to burden the poor to get there. The point of all that is this. I don't like kicking the can down the road. We did that with voter ID. We did it with eminent domain. We did it with medical marijuana. And the results are predictable and always the same. If we kick this can down the road, there will be a referendum. It will pass. The Constitution will be amended. And once again, our hands will be tied. That's not good policy. That's not the direction we should be heading. We are the Senate. We are the upper chamber. We should lead in this fight, not just go silent. Thank you.
Senator McMahon, you're recognized for what purpose?
Question to Senator McDaniel.
We yield for a question, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please proceed, Senator McMahon.
Senator McDaniel, I was unclear. I heard you say you'd been here several years. How many years have you been here?
Since 08.
How many terms have you been elected?
3, 4.
Four?
The fourth, yes.
In the 4 terms, the 16 years you've been here, have you ever offered a comprehensive reform of the tax code?
I have.
Comprehensive in nature
Yes.
to eliminate,
From
to
the
complete.
franchise tax to the inventory tax to this particular issue, the answer is yes.
You know, your record's pretty clear that you always vote against tax increases. Are there any taxes you're for?
Yes, here's the answer to that. When it comes to federal or state, they're very different philosophies. Where do you want me to start?
I don't want a philosophy. I just want to know what
no,
taxes
it's
you're
re-
for.
no, it's really
to fund roads and bridges and schools and.
It's really, really simple.
I'm just trying to. I'm trying to understand your
Senator,
your
I'll tell you
arguments
what,
here.
I'll be more than happy to answer your question. Phil kindly allow me to.
Sure.
You good? From a federal standpoint, it's really simple. The federal government is a government of limited authority. Consequently, all the powers it possesses are in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. Any taxing authority outside of those exercises of authority is, by definition, unconstitutional. Hence, I would be against any additional taxes in that endeavor. When it comes to state taxes, we are here to satisfy the core functions of government. I don't have a problem with that. In fact, we're taking in 33% more taxes this year than we did just 10 years ago. We're $500 million flush, more than estimates this year. If that trend continues, and it will, we'll be $800 million flush for this year. These are unprecedented times. So to answer your question, when you have that type of prosperity, yes, that's exactly the time you begin to cut taxes and give that money back to the people because it's their money, Senator, not ours.
Senator McDaniel, I completely agree with you, and we've had a lot of conversations in this room and in committee meetings about taxation. And I agree with you that, you know, this year we may be showing a 33% increase. However, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and with all the money that's been pumped by the federal government into our economy, there's not a clear vision of what the state of taxation is in the state of Mississippi. So what I think, what my position I support, and I'm asking you said the economist, but you know, I also sent this tax bill to some CPA firms and to 2 economic teams, and I asked them, what did they think of it? I didn't want to know if they supported or didn't support it, and they said unequivocally that it was a tax increase. And so, on Mississippi, so my position is, and I hope you might join me in this, is what's wrong with delaying it for 9 months and having public hearings across the state so all Mississippians can have an opportunity to contribute to the conversation? What do you think about that?
You asked 3 different questions during your diatribe, and I'll do my best to answer all 3 in the order in which they were asked. As to the predictability of the clear position, one argument is, I keep hearing, is that we're in a pandemic, hence we need more money. Well, let's not forget, in the middle of this pandemic, our revenue is more flush than it's ever been in history, in large part because of public spending. Now, you asked about predictability. Unequivocally, that public spending is going to continue because of a new administration in D.C. for at least 3 more years. That gives us clear predictability for the next 4 budgets. Yes, it's predictable, and yes, it's easily doable. Number 2, as to the position on the House's bill, you're exactly right. As a whole, I don't believe it's solely revenue neutral. I think perhaps it could be a slight tax increase. The answer to that, though, is to take that bill in this body, examine it in this body, and then counter with an easier, more simple, and predictable solution. Put another way, Senator, we were elected to be the study commission. That's our job, is to be the study commission. And if you have been thinking about tax policy, how many years you've been here, then you and all of us have neglected our people in that regard. I think about it all the time. So the point is, if you're talking about predictability, we've got the plan. You talked about the idea of knowing the money's going to be there for the next 4 years. We have that understanding. Absolutely, this can be done, but it can't be done kicking the can down the road. In fact, I'll take it a step further to answer your 3rd question. If we kick it down the road now, that's 1 less year we have of public spending that in some respects is driving additional revenue. It's 1 less year we have to scale down the income tax system in a reputable manner. As an example, if we eliminate the 4% bracket, we go to the 5% bracket. We begin to eliminate half a point per year while we're flush. 4 years down the road, we're at a 3% bracket. Let's say things get tough then. The scale down stops at that stage. But look at the advances we've made. We're at a 3% bracket, not a 5% bracket. Money is being poured into the system because of those cuts. We're more flush than ever before, theoretically speaking. So this is entirely predictable. And the idea that we can't be the study commission is to ignore our job here.
The study commission is in my opinion, would be an opportunity to go around the state and hold forums like we did in the 86 highway project and give everybody an opportunity to have a say and to address the legislature and not to rewrite the entire tax code in 4 weeks.
One would think that's our job as people who represent those individuals home. Number 2, the strange thing about this resolution is it comprises a study commission of us and them. We're already in the building, Senator. I've never seen a resolution that we had to pass for us to call a meeting. If we were so inclined to call a meeting, we could call it right now in 2:10 and fix this in a couple of days. We don't need a resolution to do our job, which is what you're asking. This is our job. We are the study commission. Delay, all that does is cost us a valuable year before we can scale this down right now.
I disagree with you, Senator. Give me one association, name me one association that's in favor of this in the state of Mississippi. One association that thinks this is a good tax bill today.
Mississippi Center for Public Policy, Americans for Prosperity, Empower Mississippi. That's 3. You want more?
That's 3. Those are. I would not say those are trade. Those are not trade associations. Like, give me a trade association that actually produces something, a product.
I can answer that. Every trade association I've spoken with, and I won't use their names here. I'll save it. You want to come to my office, I'll show you. Everyone I've spoken to, everyone. If we eliminate those 26 other tax increases the House sent us, they all favor it. Every single one. But that's the point of the give and take of this system. If we get a chance to amend it, let's amend it. They'll be in our favor then. It goes back to the House. Let the House deal with that. That's the point.
So you want to completely eliminate the income tax, not just reduce it, but completely eliminate it?
You phase it out over time, over 10 years. That's
and
correct.
Completely eliminate it.
That's correct.
So then you would just be for consumption tax.
Ultimately, no, not just consumption tax. You have the other taxes as well. We have literally 170 other taxes and fees on the books other than the income tax. 170.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Senator Hill, for what purpose you seek recognition?
I'd like to speak in just a minute.
Okay, anything else, Senator McDaniel? Thank you, Senator. Senator Hill, you're recognized. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Harkins, for what purpose you seek recognition?
Question?
For
Senator McDaniel?
Senator McDaniel, were you for a question?
Yes, sir. I kind of assumed he might ask a question.
Thank you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your comments. I don't think that a lot of us disagree. I'll tell you, it was my idea to come up with a study commission because I think I speak for probably 17 or so members here that have either new or that have come in when I came in, and there really has not been an extensive overview that people have had the opportunity to sit there and look at all the sales. And in my mind, if we're going to look at tax reform, let's look at it holistically. Let's put everything on the table. Let's put tax diversions, tax credits. I mean, let's see where our revenue's coming in from and how much we're bringing in and where it's going. So one of the questions that I have is, what unintended consequences are there from eliminating the income tax?
Under the amendment that I'm offering, none.
Okay.
None. I'll
So
tell
you
why.
want to impose the inventory
This is-
tax back on businesses?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Well,
Here's
that's what you
happened.
do when you eliminate the inventory tax.
No,
We
we're not-
pay it on a
no,
local
I thought you
level.
said the income tax. You're talking about the income
When you
tax.
eliminate the income tax, the inventory tax is paid local and it's taken as a credit on your income.
No, let me explain. No other alterations are made. No other alterations are made. What you're finding is that growth in other taxable interest offset those decreases and are easily taken care of by those increases.
So when somebody pays their inventory tax, not income, but inventory tax at the local level, what do they do with that?
That's not going to change. That practice is not going to change.
Well, if you've eliminated the income tax, what are they going to take it against?
No, there'll always be additional revenue there. It just has a minor tweak to correct that. The revenue's there. The key is revenue. And as long as we
I
have the
understand,
revenue,
but are you going to reimburse them for their?
Your time has expired, Senator. Do I hear a motion to extend the time? Motion is made. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Senator McDaniel, you're recognized. 5 minutes,
Yeah,
please.
the short answer is this. The answer is you could, but you don't have to get to that point right away, and here's why. It's a slow phase-out over time, which gives this body more than ample time to understand those difficulties, assuming those triggers are met over a period of 10 or 15 years. You don't have to answer that question right away. It's not necessary. You phase it out, common sense prevails, our chamber makes the additional tweaks over time as we see the prevailing environment. So it's all workable.
Well, if you under the proposal the House had, they upped the exemption to $50,000 and $100,000. If a company's paying inventory
Right.
tax,
Right. I'm not a fan of the House bill unless it is. I'll be the first to tell you. I'm not here to defend the House bill. I'm here to defend. I just
that's
think we ought
all
to
the more
keep working.
reason why that's what we have before us. And there are a lot of iterations that could be out there that people have ideas. I mean, nobody has come to me with a serious and sat down with me and said, hey, here's my plan to do this.
The House, since I've been here, has always sent us proposals. And every year unequivocally, since I've been here, we always manage to send back proposals, except this time for some reason. Hey, listen, I'll agree with you. I do believe they should have come to you and talked with you. But now this thing's been debated. It's in the public domain. There are at least 12 different economists that have already given opinions on this one particular issue, and a dozen more that will if they're asked. We have the data right in front of us. What the study commission does, it basically takes the same number of senators and House members, puts them in a room, and asks the state economist. So what you're really doing is adding an economist to 12 other economist opinions. Now that's nice, but it's not dispositive. We have the data before us right now to at least proceed. My position is this: I think we should have counteroffered. That's my position. I still think we should counteroffer and let the House deal with a counteroffer.
Well, I've noted two different discrepancies on, or unintended consequences as it relates to the inventory tax. On if you eliminate income tax, eventually it's gonna bite into the inventory tax. You're gonna be paying inventory tax.
Many years.
Do we know how much that is?
Conceivably. Now look, it may not. So bear in mind, you see this step down occurring over 10 years, only if triggers are met. Say you get to year 3, and you've had this minor step down occurring. Obviously, there's going to be some discussion about how to handle that slight loss of revenue during that time period.
Okay.
Those aren't questions we have to answer now. The question we have to answer now is, how do we get rid of the income tax and do it in a way that still keeps core functions of government alive? And we can do that.
I do think that there are it's necessary to look at what unintended consequences may be out there. There are other ones that I've cited in here, and it's almost about $60 million with the proposed plan that we have right now. But I think at the end of the day, what I want is to make sure that we put Mississippi in the most competitive posture to be not only competitive. I mean, I can be competitive by cutting my prices 80%, but I'm going to go out of business. But be competitive and be successful at the end of that. And what a study committee would do is, I think everybody does need to know what diversions are out there. Where are we sending our money? I mean, revenue is coming into the state, and I guarantee you people don't know where tax dollars are being diverted today. Meanwhile, we're getting more tax diversions pushed out here that are wanting to take money away from the general fund. But if you eliminate income tax over 10 years, roughly how much a year would that be?
It begins with that initial 4% elimination. That's about 176 million. That's year one. Okay. Year two, assuming the trigger is met, which it has to be met, and that accounts for a 1.5% increase over last year's record budget. Think about that. Record budget, there would have to be a 1.5% increase over that before the second trigger is even met. At that stage, it would produce again by 180 plus million.
Assuming a 1.5% is around $85–90 million, you would have to have how much growth to move it, and how would you move it?
I have the diagram right here. Now, I tell you for sake of brevity, if you'll come to my office, or I'll come to your office. You're the chairman.
We'll meet in the middle.
But it shows right here about a 7.5% increase in all other taxable categories. And you say, well, that's a lot. That's the point. That's the whole point. We take this initial first step, demanding these additional growth triggers are met. That way, we don't have to lose revenue. We don't have to make the mistake Kansas did. And that's another point I want to make. We keep hearing about all of this study commission. We have 9 other states that have already gone down this path. Some have made good decisions. Some have made very poor decisions. The idea is to find a path for us where we can survive the downturns, if there are downturns, but also have the revenue despite the income tax elimination. This is not the Kansas plan I'm proposing. It's very different. The triggers make it different. So we've got tons of data, and it's been available for many, many years. And listen, I completely understand your point, and I know where this vote's about to go, and I get that, but I still wanted to make a stance here that I do believe this Senate should have led, and I do believe they should have talked to you, and I do believe there should have been communication. I'll say that.
I don't disagree with your premise. I just, the taxes don't even take effect until the following year. So there's really not anything that we pass this year that's going to go into effect this year, correct?
Well, that's right. It would be 2022, which again is even better because bear in mind, as we see more public spending, and you know this, Senator, as a general rule, when the federal government...
15 seconds, Senator.
Sir?
15 seconds.
I'll wrap up like this. As we see the additional monies flowing in from public spending, Mississippi's coffers will continue to be flush. There's never been a better opportunity than right now to move. Thank you, Mr.
Senator
President. I appreciate
Sparks, for what purpose you seek recognition?
Question of Senator McDaniel.
We're out of time, Senator, unless we extend it, and the senator has to request it. Senator, do you request an extension of time? You do? There's a motion to extend the time by 5 minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You have 5 minutes, Senator. Senator Sparks, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator McDaniel, for your compliment earlier. I appreciate that. I share the desire to cut the personal income tax. I like to see us cut the tax, not raise the exemption. There is a difference because you raise the exemption, you create a refund, you let the state hold your money for 12 months, and you have to claim it on your next federal schedule potentially. So there's a lot of mystery that was sent over in the 308-page bill. So we agree on that. My question would be, in the times that we're in, we've quoted a large amount of money in the budget this year or in the revenues this year. You would agree with me that there is a portion of that money, possibly $200 million or more, that is from the prior fiscal year tax collections.
Non-recurring revenue for this year. That's correct.
That's correct, because we delayed the income tax filing. So
it's about 240 million or so, right? Yeah, non-recurring revenue. Yeah, that's right.
All right. The second thing that has happened this year, sales tax are up tremendously, which has impacted this number, and other taxes. But we have had people that have drawn unemployment benefits that exceeded their actual revenue.
Right.
You would agree?
That's right.
All right. In addition to that, families have received potentially as much as $10,000 in stimulus payments that we don't have data to show whether they saved that money or spent that money, but that once again would impact our revenues for this year.
It could, that's correct.
All right. And I don't anticipate that we can sustain that type of infusion from the federal government for the next 5 to 10 years.
At least 4. And that was the point. Let me answer that real quick. You're exactly right. What occurs here, you're dependent in large part, and in my mind, in some respects, regrettably, because you know I don't like all that public spending. You know that. But when it occurs, it does a couple of things. First, it generates sales and activity. It's that Keynesian approach of prime the public pump, so to speak, and it creates economic productivity, at least in the short term, until the debt alone drags it down. So you've got that happening. You've got the Fed keeping interest rates artificially low. You've got tons of purchases occurring there. The money's flooding into the system right now. On top of that, stock market's high. People are buying big purchases for those stock gains. All of a sudden, revenues are really thick, really good for Mississippi. The economists I spoke to think that will continue about 4 years, without question. Obviously, elections, right? The Democrats want to maintain control of the House during the midterms. So you have to anticipate they'll keep infusing the economy with this public dollars. Now, at the end of year 4, you're right. We don't know how far out we can look and predict that type of income stream. That's the best part about the amendment, though. If we don't meet at that stage, those revenue triggers, the phase out stops. And yet Mississippi is still taking pretty considerable steps in the right direction. So you're 4 years down the road, we look up, the federal spending collapses, our revenue is down, phase out stops right then. And yet at that stage, we're at 3%, which makes us more competitive than any surrounding state.
And I appreciate that, and I support some level of triggering.
Gotcha.
But here's the question, and the study committee is here because we're in the middle of unprecedented times, would be my opinion. It's also something that I don't think we're able to model, nor have economists modeled pandemic economies going forward. But here's the question that I don't know if you've modeled it, please share it. What do you believe happens with inflation when you infuse $8 trillion from the federal treasury into our state? So if the CPI rises greater than 1.5,
right,
inflation rises greater than the trigger,
that's right,
we're actually going backwards. Would that not cause a problem for the modeling?
Absolutely. Here's the way that works. You're exactly right. When you have all this additional money being printed, inflation is going to rear its head. It's just a matter of time. We don't know exactly when that will be, but economists are saying, look, expect something to change in about 3 to 4 to 5 years. The best part about the approach we're taking here, because it is kind of cautious, if we sense the inflation index getting really, really high, and we can't account for that, we can tweak the amendment just slightly and account for it. You can likewise tweak the triggers and account for it. My fear is if we don't take this approach, and there is a constitutional amendment, and they pass it, those tweaks would be impossible. So to answer your question then, if we can't come back and adjust for inflationary concerns, you know what that means, tax increases and or cuts to government services, which is why this amendment is the way it is. It's supposed to be designed for flexibility in the event we see something uncharacteristic.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity for comprehensive tax reform. It is year 2 for me, so I haven't missed as many opportunities to get a bill passed. But I do think under these circumstances that we do need some modeling and we do need some study,
Yes,
not to sit on our hands,
Yes,
but to make good decisions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Senator.
I appreciate
Senator,
just to answer that question really quick or follow up, I appreciate your questions. And bear in mind, the important part about the possibility of the Senate having an amendment is that the amendment is so simplistic that the models kind of speak for themselves. You need a calculator and an economist. It takes about 5 minutes. That's one of the things about the House bill that I didn't like. The more variables you have in that calculation, the more the modeling gets really difficult for economists to do. And they'll tell you that. 26 different variations, inflation. With this one, you only have 3 variables. So the
Senator,
model
your
will be
time
really
has
easy.
expired. Senator Sparks, thank you
sir.
very
I
much,
appreciate it.
and we will proceed unless you request other time. Senator requests no further time. Senator, where did he go? Kirby. Where'd Senator Kirby go? There he is. I'm sorry, Senator, I don't have her light on. Senator, did you wish to speak on the bill? Please proceed.
Thank you. I'll be brief. I just want to go back to part of what Senator Harkins said. I live on the borderline of Louisiana. Even with the income tax credit offset of the inventory tax that fully matured in 2016, the people can deduct the lesser of their income tax liability or their inventory tax liability, whichever is smaller. That still leaves a lot of people with a lot of inventory tax owed. My concern is, what are we going to do with these people who are still paying inventory tax? Right now, some of them are offsetting it as a credit to their personal income tax, but that still is not enough. I'm told constantly that my people we're losing jobs in Pearl River County to Louisiana because they do a better job of managing their tax structure. Now, their sales tax is high, but they typically can land the warehouses that we can't. We've had rooms to go. We've got Amazon coming to Slidell. So my concern is we still need to look at what we need to do about this inventory tax. We also need to look at what we need to do with what is called personal property tax number 3, where a business each year is taxed on every tangible physical element of furniture or fixture that is in that business. That is a tax that is regressive to somebody investing in their business. The people that are not locating in my county, or the people that are complaining in my county, are complaining about either losing a business to Louisiana because of the inventory tax, or they're complaining because they continuously have their same property taxed year after year after year. And if they invest in their business, they're penalized because they have to pay an assessment, a personal property tax, on each item that they buy to enhance their business. I'm concerned about both the income tax, but I'm also concerned about these other taxes that are negative to developing businesses. And I think that my perspective is we need to look at both of these together, and many of them together, to see where we can do a more fair assessment of taxes and not place the burden all on the property owners. So there's some answers that I don't have from the economists and that I don't have from the DOR that I'm still waiting on. When I get those answers, I'm a numbers person. I know what our budget looks like. It's very easy to see. All you have to do is open the front of this booklet, and I have followed this since the day I got here 11 years ago. And I can tell you where the 30% increase in our collections has gone. It has gone into public education, and it has gone largely into Medicaid, because we have given teachers a $5,000 raise in the last 6 years and another $1,000 yesterday or the other day. And we've given teachers' assistants raises as well. And when Obamacare came into play, we didn't, quote, formally expand Medicaid, but we had to absorb 150,000 extra people due to the new definition of eligibility of Medicaid. We had to absorb all those people in the poorest state with this same budget in a matter of 1 year. So those are where the vast majority of that increase in collections has gone, is to Medicaid and public education. And I'm more than willing to figure out how to cut these budgets and slim these budgets down, because I still believe we have waste in some of these agencies. But for the large part, 35% of our income is from individual income tax. 35% of our income is from sales tax. So that's where it comes from. And if you look at how it's spent, 53.3%, all educational activities, social welfare, 17.12%. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Does anyone else wish to speak on the bill? Senator England, you're recognized to speak on the bill. You had a question, Senator England?
I think Senator Jordan does.
You want to speak on the bill. Senator Jordan, you'll be next to speak on the bill. Senator England. Senator Jordan, you're recognized for what purpose?
I have a question, Mr. President.
Of Senator
Maybe.
Hill?
Yes, of course.
Please proceed.
Information that I know you want to set up a committee, I'm completely, frankly ignorant on tax system, but I hear people say that sales tax would go to 9.5% if we remove income tax. And that's what frightened a lot of people out there.
I think that's the House's proposal, 9.5%
Well,
almost.
we don't know what this committee will come up. You have an idea? They could get bogged down into the paralysis of the analysis of what they're trying to do.
Senator Jordan,
So-
I don't think I'm named on that committee, according to that resolution, but I'm seeking my own information from the DOR and other agencies to try to figure out what's the best method of attack to try to look at reforming our tax code.
Yes. But I don't want anything to hurt the general public like those. What are one question, what are the adjacent counties? What is the sales tax in Tennessee? What is it in Louisiana? What is it in Alabama?
I don't live on the Tennessee border, but I know that Louisiana allows different municipalities to assess their own extra taxes. And if you buy groceries in Louisiana next to me, you pay 4% on the groceries, but if you buy a pair of pants or something else at Sam's, you pay 14.75%.
Well, see, that's the kind of stuff we don't need, isn't it? We need to be consistent in the sale tax because the majority of the people spend money in sale tax. So I don't want anything to run sale tax up. And the general public, in my opinion, and what they have said, don't want it either. We may have to put this in a referendum and let them decide what we should do about this dilemma that we're in.
I think one thing we also need to look at is, I think when we were looking at the CARES Act funds and we had a certain number of registered people with a certain license in this state, I think we had 45,000 people that held a certain license, and I believe the number the DOR gave me was 9,000 of those people filed an income tax return. So we have people that are not filing income tax returns for whatever reason. So that's something else to look at.
Well, I don't know how we're going to get out of this dilemma unless we just decide to come up with something that will work for the majority of the Mississippians who buy and where sale tax is required. I don't want to pay 10 cents on a dollar for sale tax. I certainly don't. Thank you.
Senator England, you're recognized to speak on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I won't be 5 minutes, and I'm not going to answer any questions, so I'll go ahead and throw that out there. When the Mississippi Tax Freedom Act, HB 1439, was dropped on the other side of the building, the immediate reaction from a lot of groups that I heard was, all right, we're getting rid of the state income tax. And then the longer we looked at it, and the longer we heard from more groups, we started to realize, well, look, we need to look into this a little further. This might not be all it's shaken out to be here. Then we start hearing about that. That gets passed. It's coming over to our side of the building. I start hearing about an amendment to this bill. And I start getting emails about this amendment to this bill and how great that's going to make this state income tax thing. I haven't seen the amendment, and I'm being asked to vote on it. I don't know exactly what it does. I know that some people will, just like people on the other side of the building will say that HB 1439 would have done great things for some and not for others. We don't know exactly what is going to happen here. This study committee is what we need. I came up here to lower taxes and to help make our government as small as we can. So I do support this study group. I think Chairman Harkins has the right idea about this. I know he's talked about this for a long time, and I hope that we all will get behind this and that we'll all attend any hearings or anything that we can to get behind this effort to see how we can lower taxes in a smart way for the citizens of Mississippi. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Kirby, you're recognized to close. Senator Sojourner, did you want to speak on the bill? Thank you very much. Okay, Senator, you're recognized to close then. Did you have a question? Senator England said he wasn't taking questions. Okay, we're good. Senator Sojourner is good, so let's go. Senator Kirby, you're recognized to close on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now that we've debated a bill that's not before us, I would not want to kick this can down the road anymore. So here's what I'm asking. I'm asking that you vote for a bill for a study committee that has nothing to do with that other bill. It doesn't refer to that other bill in any way in the bill. And I'm asking that we do the right thing and form a study committee to report to the legislature on all of the different taxes and make sure we're doing the right thing. Not, well, I'm not even going to get into the other bill. Use the afternoon roll call for final passage.
Senator has moved for use of the afternoon roll call. Does anyone object to the procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? McDaniel, no. Anyone else? Chisholm, no. Sojourner, no. Anyone else? Anyone else present? Anyone present? Seeing none, motion passes with the three exceptions noted, Mr. Clerk. All right, Senator, you're recognized. We're on 14. Senator Kirby. Senator Kirby, you're recognized. We're back on the calendar.
Thank you, Mr. President. I got some involved in that one. I forgot about the others. So I'd like to take up items 14 through 31 in block, if no one wishes to set any aside, and ask the title to be read.
14 through 31 in block. Any objection? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed,
Aye.
no. Okay, Senator, you're recognized for 14 through 31. Mr. Clerk, please read the
We'll
titles.
make the usual motion, Mr.
I'm sorry,
President.
yes, makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now we're ready.
Thank you, Mr. President.
We're ready to read the bills, Mr. Clerk. Senator Kirby, we need to read the titles.
Senate,
Go for it, Mr. Clerk.
Senate concurrent resolution number 5, declaring that March 21st, 2021 is World Down Syndrome Day in Mississippi. Senate resolution number 27, recognize Biloxi native and Nashville Predators Mathal Olivier for first NHL goal by player born in Mississippi. Senate resolution number 28, commend JSU Lady Tigers basketball team for 2019-2020 SWAC championship. Senate resolution number 29, recognize Biloxi Elementary School and Diabloville Elementary School for National Blue Ribbon School Award. Senate resolution number 30, commemorate centennial anniversary of Howell Grantham, American Legion Post 53. Senate resolution number 31, congratulate Jackson Academy Lady Raiders girls basketball team and Coach Jim Sojourner for MAIS Class 5A championship. Senate resolution number 32, commend Lanier High School Bulldogs boys basketball team for winning the 2021 Class 4A state championship. Senate resolution number 33, commend Willie Shoah as instructor of the year at the Jackson County campus of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Senate resolution number 34, commend James Pittman as instructor of the year at the Perkinson campus of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Senate resolution number 35, commend Christy Matthews as instructor of the year at the Bryant Center of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Senate resolution number 36, commend Coahoma County High School Red Panthers boys basketball team for Class 2A state championship. Senate resolution number 37, commend Manchester Academy Lady Mavericks girls basketball team for first state championship. Senate resolution number 38, commend Amanda Sherrill as instructor of the year at the Harrison County campus of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Senate resolution number 39, commemorate 100th anniversary of Troop 8, Boy Scouts of America at First Baptist Church of Jackson, Mississippi. Senate resolution number 40, commend JSU Tigers men's basketball team for winning the COSWAC 2021 regular season championship. Senate resolution number 41, congratulate JSU Lady Tigers women's basketball team and Coach Tamika Reed for consecutive SWAC regular season championship. Senate resolution number 42, commend Leak Academy Lady Rebels girls basketball team for winning 2021 MAIS overall championship. Senate resolution number 43, honor the legacy of Marine Corporal Vanzai J. Rigsby of Jasper County, the oldest living Munford Point Marine, on his 100th birthday.
Now, Mr. President, I'll make the usual motion.
Senator makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Thank you,
Ayes
Mr.
have
President. Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, Senators, you can see all of these also are commending or recognizing people that are well deserved and should be honored, our groups. So if no questions asked for you this morning, afternoon roll call for final passage.
Use of afternoon roll call for final passage has been requested. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Seeing none, I would remind you, the clerk has stated that if you want to be a co-author, please circle and bring them up to the desk, and we will list you as a co-author on any of the rules calendar. Okay. Local and private. Senator McMahon? Pass. Concurrence and non-concurrence. Judd A. Judd A. Senator Wiggins? Pass. Senator Seymour? Pass. Senator Polk? Pass. There, 55, 56, 57, 58 will retain their place on the calendar. 59, I'm sorry, and on down to, one moment, please. 147 will retain their place on the calendar. Please note, we have named the conferees. As soon as the House names their conferees, which hopefully will be this afternoon, I'd ask y'all to resume and begin work on all the conferee duties. Chairman DeBar, pass. That's 148 and 149, 150 and 151. So we have completed the calendar. Anyone wish to bring up anything on the calendar? Seeing none, announcements. Senator McMahon, announcement.
Mr. President, local and private will meet tomorrow at 1 p.m. in room 409.
1 p.m., Mr. Clerk, 409. Senator Polk, announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. AET committee will meet in the morning at 9:45 and 2:16. We have several nominations to review, and if I might, I have an adjourning memory.
Please proceed with your adjourning memory.
Thank you, Mr. President. When we adjourn today, I hope that we'll recognize that a friend of ours in Hattiesburg, Tony Petro's father, died on March 14th. His name was Eddie Anthony Petro Jr., and so we'd like to adjourn in memory today in his honor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I believe we adjourned in memory of his former, actually, one of his former family members. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, Senator Blackwell, we're ready for your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate stand adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Till 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We stand in recess.